Hello, very warm welcome to babycode free IELTS classes. I'm Tanu Vermani, an IDP certified trainer and a TEFL stall certified trainer too. Very warm welcome to our live session number 10. And today we are going to talk about strategies for the summary completion, diagram, and note completion questions. How you can attempt these type of questions. Moving forward, please download the academic and the general mock test from the babycode application. It will be in a easier format. PDF formats are available for you. You can download, take out a printout, and practice on a daily basis. For downloading an unlimited test, you can buy the membership, right? Now, moving forward towards to the strategies, first we will discuss about summary completion, what summary completion is. Now, summary completion, these type of questions, they test your ability that are you understanding the details within the passage or not? Are you able to identify the main idea? And usually they will be one part of the text rather than the whole text. So you are actually going to understand the main idea from one text, right? What you will see in this type of question is you will see an incomplete summary presented with the missing words. But there are two types of variations in these questions. One is where you have to select words directly from the text, or where you select words from the list of answers, like from the list of possible options given to you, right? So first is if you select words directly from the text, instruction will make it clear how many words or numbers you should use in your answer. Second one, if you select words from a list, the words can be synonym, that means words of a similar meaning, or it can be an antonym, that means words that have the opposite meaning, right? That appear in your text. That can be directly taken from the text. So what you should understand is it is essential that you prepare for this type of question by increasing your vocabulary range and by learning how to identify the word groups, right? Now we will focus on the second type of question where you need to write your answers from the list of options given to you, right? We will be looking at the analyzing here. Now let's look at the reading passage and how we can prepare for this type of question. So as I told you, what is summary completion? An incomplete summary will be appearing below with the text, and you will be looking at the box containing words and phrases. You will select the words for the missing gaps from that box, right? With an exercise this, you need to have some of the reading skills like skimming and scanning, so that you can identify where in the text you need to read and understand the main idea, and then you can choose up the correct words, right? You will also need to rely on your own vocabulary knowledge, and you will be able to identify which word is missing, right? You should be able to identify if you need a noun, a verb, or an adjective or an adverb, right? So let's look at this passage. This passage is about the marvelous invention. Before reading the passage, you should go to the paragraph first. Your questions first. Now question says complete the summary using list of words. So you have an options here A to G. You have to select the words from these A to G. But first what you will do is you will read your incomplete summary. Then you will go back to the paragraph and you will find a word which matches with the word here from the list, right? So we will look at two type of strategies in detail. The very first is read the question first, and the second one is read the text for the main idea. Now read the question first. So first thing you should do is read the question first. Remember that summary will be short, so you will be able to read it quickly. So what important points you need to focus on once you start reading your questions? As you read it for the first time, you will be able to form an incomplete summary in your head before looking at the text, right? Pay attention to the heading. Now the heading says the importance of language. So you should understand that the summary will be about how important the language is, right? As you read the summary, or underline or circle key information words like wheel, invention, major, impact, compose, small number of sounds, sophistication, overlook. You will be looking at all those keywords and you can underline that. Pay attention to the missing words also and think about what groups or words they belong to. For example, the first gap have like word will be an adjective because it describes the aspects of life. So what thing describe the aspects of life? Also, you can look at the third gap, the third blank. Language is varied. So that means a word which describe what language is in relation to, what is the main idea there, right? Focus on the linking words also, the adverbs, the conjunctions that may introduce reason, contrast, comparison also, like yet, but, however, these words are given there, right? Look at the list of words. There are 7 words, but you have only 4 gaps to fill it. So you will see that words in the box are mainly adjectives. So look at the summary again and think of what word should fit here. Grammatical structure of the sentence will also help you out, right? But no impact has been. Now see the question number 2. No impact has been dash as that of the language. So again, it is using an adjective. So all of the 4 questions demands you to write an adjective. Once you are done with the first strategy, second says read the text for the main idea. Now what you should do, you have studied the question, you have done with the incomplete summary. Now what you should do, you should start skimming the text, focus on some of the key information which you have already underlined, the words you have already underlined or circled. Now start skimming and scanning through them, right? Once you do that, now let's look at how you can answer the question 1. The question number 1 says the wheel is one invention that has a major impact on dash aspects of life. So it has what kind of an impact on life? What aspect of life did the wheel have a major impact on? So we will find some of the keywords also right at the beginning of the text and see what the wheel was. And see that the wheel was very important from a material point of view, whereas language made us human. So passage says, what passage says? Passage says this, right? Without the language, we could have never impacted. Yes, you have to read the passage. Our other inventions, the wheel, agriculture, sliced bread, may have transformed our material existence, but the advent of language is what made us human, right? So this is your passage. So we see in the text that it transformed, it changed our material existence. So this word appear in the box. So the word which is there in the box, you can choose that word material, right? Because they are talking about material existence. That means from material point of view. So you got your first answer. Second question says, but no impact has been as dash as that of the language. Now, when you read the second question, you need to choose an adjective that show up. No other invention has had such a significant, huge, or a major impact on us. No impact has been seen. So when we see the text, we see that everything depends on language and it is very significant. Now come see the passage here. Compared to language, all other inventions pale in significance. Since everything we have ever achieved depends on language and originates from him. So the word from the list that matches this gap is, now you can see what they are mentioning here is fundamental. That means it is an essential part. It is a significant part, right? So you can choose that word from the box. Third question says language is very dash yet composed of a small number of sounds. Now, when we look at this question, we see that you have given a word adverb yet, which means to contrast. So when we read the text, we should think that even though language is only composed of small number of compounds, it is a marvelous invention being extraordinary sophisticated, right? Because it is given in the passage in its own right, it is a tool of extraordinary sophistication. Yet, based on an idea of ignorant simplicity, this marvelous invention of composing out 25 or 30 sounds, that infinite variety of expression. So, we need to choose an adjective from the list that describes the word sophisticated. A word that is opposite in meaning to simple is complex. So, complex fits best here and you will get your answer. How to answer number 4? Answer question number 4 says language appears to be dash to use. However, its sophistication is often overlooked. So in the final question, the sentence is followed by however. That means a connector. Connector which is actually introducing a statement that contrasts between the previous statement. So in the previous question, we read that language was sophisticated. So we need to find an adjective that has opposite meaning. But language is foremost not just because it came first in its own right, it is a tool of extraordinary sophistication, yet based on an idea of ingenious simplicity. So in the text, we see the word simplicity used. The idea of language based on a small number of sounds appear to be simple and easy. However, it results in complex, sophisticated form of communication. So the word which fits from the list is easy, simple and easy, right? So you will use the same word from the list of options, right? Now we will do one exercise also. Here is an exercise on my screen. A passage is given, and then you will find the questions here. The problem of physical, you have to write no more than 2 words. The problem of physical access to buildings has now been dashed by technology. Messages are dashed with passwords, not allowing to read someone else's messages. Individuals are increasingly dashed socially, by the way. They do their job at the same time, more value being put on dash. However, email and voicemail have led to dash opportunities for person to person communication. Now, I'll be looking at the words from the passage, but I will choose my finalized word from this table and option from the table, right? Now, first is the problem of physical access to building has now been dashed by technology. So once reading the paragraph, I came across the very first statement that they were combating between the difficulty of access. They were having the difficulty of access to people at physical level. We have now developed technological access. So now they have an access. That means the problem is solved now, right? So the problem is solved now. So problem of physical access to building has now been developed by technology or solved by technology. The problem cannot be developed now because the problem has solved now. So I'm going to choose my this answer, solve. Messages are dashed with password, not allowing to read someone else's messages. Now what they're talking about messages. So this messages can be passed to and fro. Here too, security plays a part. So they are having a security for messages. Since we must not allow messages access to messages destined for others, and so the passwords are invented. So they are having the passwords. That means the messages are dashed with passwords. So again, I'm looking at my all options. So messages are protected with passwords, not allowing others to read the someone else's messages. That means they do not allow anybody else to read the messages. So the third one is other people, right? Individuals are becoming increasingly dashed. Now, what individuals are becoming increasingly? Let me look at individuals. Read the second passage, and yet it seems that just as work is isolating individuals more and more. So that means what people are doing, the individuals are becoming increasingly isolating. But I cannot use the word isolating here because it is not grammatically correct. So instead of isolating, I can use a synonym of isolating, which is cut off. So you are isolating somebody means that you are making a distance, right? So that means cut off socially, by the way. They do their job at the same time, more value is being put on. Now they are putting more value in what? Organizations are recognizing the advantages of teamwork. Now their focus is on teamwork. Let's see if we have the teamwork here. Yes, we have the same word teamwork. So we will put fourth as teamwork. Put on teamwork. However, now they are making a contrast. Email and voicemail have led to dash opportunities. Now, what they are saying is, yet how can groups work together if the possibilities for communication are reduced? So they are talking about less possibilities of communication. They are actually reduced. How can they work together if email provides a convenient electronic shield? Because now they have email, they have voicemails, right, behind a password. So what is actually happening is the communication is getting reduced now because of the email and voicemail. So for reduced opportunities, what word you can use here is, you can use the word decrease in opportunities, because you can't fit the word reducing of opportunities. That is incorrect here. You have to look at your grammatical structure. Please check all your answers and look at the explanation also. If you have any doubts, you can look forward to the explanation. Moving forward, let's talk about diagram labeling. Now, what diagram labeling is? A paragraph and a diagram will be given to you. You have to label the parts of the diagram. Most of the answers of the diagram will be in the same paragraph. You just have to analyze your diagram very carefully. The diagram can be a scientific process also, a natural process, a structure of a living or a non-living thing also, right? So you need to fill specific parts here. Now, in the diagram completion, what strategies and tips you can apply is first that you should notice the various components and their arrangements also. If it is a process diagram, notice the arrows to understand the process. Also consider the words which are close to blanks. Mostly pick from the text and reword with basic synonym. Read the labels provided, which are very helpful in finding the answer. You may find answers in the description of diagram also. Before you refer to a question, try to find a keyword present. Complete easier question first. Look at the parts to be labeled. Decide on what information you can choose and understand the link between diagram and the label to fill the blanks. Now, this is a passage which is in front of you, and here is a diagram. You have to write no more than 3 words and or a number. So here is the things given to you. First is reaction, and you can see there is third blank here, concentration, and then you will see fourth and fifth, and the last is like second and sixth. So you have to analyze your diagram very carefully. The first one is reaction. So it is essential. Now you will start reading. The first is the reaction stage. Reaction stage is when a glass beaker is placed on top of the board and a 20 meter of dilute sulfuric acid poured into it. Now what they do is they pour sulfuric acid. So they are adding the dilute sulfuric acid here, right? You can see here add 20 centimeter dilute sulfuric acid here. So once they start putting it, what is the next step they are doing is, now you can start reading that once they do it, when it is almost boiling, a small quantity of copper oxide powder is added to the beaker. That means what is adding into the beaker is the third one is copper oxide powder. So they are actually adding copper oxide powder here. Moving forward, what they do next is the mixture is then stirred with a glass spatula until the copper oxide dissolves. Process is then repeated until 1 gram of powder has been added to sulfuric acid. A heat is then removed and solution allowed to cool. Second stage is the filtration stage, as the name suggests. So now second is the filtration. That means this one, after reaction, this first blank is the filtration. Now how they'll be doing the filtration is, let's read. For the filtration stage is where a filter and a conical glass were used to remove any copper oxide that has not reacted. A clear copper sulfate solution will be left in the glass dish. Now you can see here. So what is the fourth one here is that they are actually removing the copper oxide and then they are filling the copper sulfate solution. They are left with copper sulfate solution in the dish. That means fourth and fifth is a copper sulfate solution. After that, third stage is where heat is applied to coppers in order to concentrate the solution, the concentration stage. So the last one is the concentration stage. The final concentration stage happens when the solution begins to cool. After concentration, there is a final crystallization, begins to cool, and the proper sulfate crystals start to form. So that means in concentration state, the second, here it is the crystallization. That means the second is crystallization here. And the last, they are left with copper sulfate crystals. So once you analyze your picture very carefully, then you can finalize your answer. Please look at the explanation also if you have any doubts further. These are the easiest form. You can do it if you analyze your picture very carefully. Now, what is notes completion? Notes completion, they ask you to answer the questions within word limit, right? Sometimes these are basically the questions which have incomplete notes taken from the passage, and you have to complete the notes by choosing the suitable words from the passage, right? You will be presented with the incomplete notes. Now you are required to find out the information from the passage, and you have to write the word limit according to your word limit, right? What are the instructions and what are the word limits? Answers will not be in the same order as in the text. In note completion, what strategies you need to apply is you need to know that what are the notes, what you are required to choose from the appropriate words. Note completion is also similar to table and flowchart. Answering process will be same, but they do not follow the same order from the passage, right? So that's why they are more challenging. It's always make sure that you should be attentive so that you should not make any errors here. Do not write more than one mention word limit. It could reduce your marks. Write according to your word limit. Look at the notes, like look at, you can take a notes of headings and subheadings also. These are very important. Do not change the word from your passage. You have to write the same word, but yes, you can check in your grammar. If you're not making the grammatical structure correct, you will be losing marks here. What skills you need to know is you must read the instructions carefully. You should keep in mind once you are reading the questions, keep in mind, do need to have a time management skills, because these questions, they do take a lot of time. Ability to spot on the relevant portion of your information, that means are you able to look at the required information or not. Now, what are the challenges you are going to face? You will be in state of hurry also. You might not identify proper keywords. You are going to change your word form, then again you're going to have errors. You might not know any synonyms of the word, then again you will face some of the challenges, right? Now here is a passage in front of me. I'm going to show the exercise as well. There are 7 questions. You have to complete the notes. I'm also going to do the same thing for you. No more than 2 words. So I'm going to read the question first. You have to be very quick in finding, because this is a time challenging exam. Dash is an element of several religion practices. So first question says dash is an element. So what is an element? Once I'm starting reading my paragraph, I came from the very first statement. Fasting is an element of several religion practices, including Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. So I got my first answer, fasting. Second, fasting has been scientifically proven to provide enormous dash. Now, fasting, what provides you? Now, once you start reading this, fasting has been scientifically proven to provide enormous health benefits. So my second answer is health benefits. Third says detoxification is the natural process to remove or neutralize. So I will look for detoxification. Here it is. Detoxification is the natural process to eliminate or neutralize toxins. So what they do is they neutralize toxins. Excess glucose and dash were not used for energy or growth. So excess glucose, here it is, excess glucose and carbs were not used for energy and growth. So carbs is the correct answer. The best advantage of fasting is the visible dash process. So best process, okay, I'm asking the best. No, it's not here. Yes. Another well-known advantage of fasting is the visible healing process. So you got your next answer here. Fasting also results in sense of rejuvenation and a longer. Fasting helps in, here it is. Fasting also results in sense of rejuvenation and a longer lifespan. So you got your last answer, lifespan. How quickly you do that is your task. Because if you will devote a lot of time in reading the passage and looking for the unrequired information, you won't be able to find your answer. You can check your answers here and explanation also. I hope it was an informative session for you, and I'm doing my best to provide you lots of information so that you will be able to crack your IELTS. If you like our application and our free sessions, please do share it with others also. You can share our application also, download our application, have the benefit of our application, and so that we can teach everybody free. Do share it, do subscribe it on the YouTube channel. Comment also if you want me to cover any new topic, you can type here. Share your valuable feedback in the comment section after watching every live session. Do the star ratings also, it helps me in improving as well, and I'll be coming up with more live sessions to help you ace IELTS in the very first attempt. Thank you so much for watching our live session number 10. Thank you so much, and I'll be coming with my new topics in the next session. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care, all of you.